So we partnered with Huawei to create the first ever full metal body Nexus phone. And it's built from aeronautical grade anodized aluminum. And it's only 7.3 millimeters thin. It has really beautiful diamond cut edges and there's sculpted back that makes it really comfortable to hold in your hand. And the phone is available in 3 colors: aluminum, graphite, and frost white. You should see in a second. There you go. And the Nexus 6P, it's a 5.7-inch phone. It has a really vibrant AMOLED display. It's a Quad HD display. And we maximize the screen area on this phone to have 74% of the overall device being a display. And what it does, by doing this, what we've done is we've built a phone that's roughly the same size as most 5.5-inch phones, but has a much larger display, which just makes it such a much more immersive experience, but without the phone feeling too big. Inside the phone, there's the latest 64-bit processor, and it's powered by a 3.5 amp battery, which will last all day. And the brand new USB Type-C port brings fast charging. Your phone can go from being fully depleted to 100% in about 97 minutes. It's one of the fastest charging phones for a battery of that size. You'll also notice that the phone has 2 front-facing twin speakers that fire forward for really crisp and clear sound for your multimedia. Nexus 6P runs the latest Android software, Marshmallow, Android 6.0, and like all Nexus devices, will receive the latest software and security updates directly from Google. I'll switch to Nexus 5X in a second when the slides catch up. A few years ago, we partnered with LG to build the Nexus 5, and it was the most popular Nexus phone, perhaps the most popular Nexus device we ever built. And this year, I'm happy to tell you that we partnered again with LG to refresh that iconic device with the Nexus 5X. The 5X offers really top-of-the-line performance in a very compact and very affordable package. There's a really beautiful 5.2-inch display, but like the Nexus 5, has the same trademark display-to-weight ratio. It's a delightful 136 grams, which is really amazing for a screen of this size. It's probably the lightest or one of the lightest 5.2-inch phones in the market today. And underneath that display is also a 64-bit processor that'll give you world-class performance and speed. And the thing about the 5X is that it shares some of the same great functionality and features that you'll find in the flagship phone, the 6P, whether it's a camera, which we'll talk about a little bit more, or Nexus SIM print, or USB Type-C charging. And this phone is also available in 3 colors. You can see it here in carbon black, ice blue, and then quartz white. Let me talk through some of the functionality and the new hardware features in the phones. First, the camera. Apparently in Australia, as I found out very recently, one of the top users, maybe the top use for the phone is to take photos. And as it turns out, people spend about 20 hours a day indoors under what turns out to be terrible lighting conditions for photography. So we put the best camera that we've ever put into a Nexus device. It has a 12.3 megapixel Sony camera. But what's interesting about this is it has 1.55 micron pixels. The image sensor has 1.55 micron pixels, which are really good at collecting light. 92% more efficient than the previous Nexus 6 at collecting light. And what that does is it lets you take great photos in really low light without creating motion blur. What you see here is a comparison of the Nexus 6 with the 6P with Nexus 6 from last year and the iPhone 6s Plus. And you can see that it outperforms both of these phones in terms of brightness, detail, the amount of noise that you're seeing there, and just in general, the tone mapping and the balanced exposure, it just outperforms the other phones, and the difference is striking. Also new this year is slow motion video, and you can see it's really great. You can see this kid having a good time with it. It's great for action scenes, and the Google Photos app lets you pick the section of the photo that you want to slow down, the region of interest that you want to look at. And of course, both the phones support 4K video resolution at normal rate. Finally, on the 6P, we added a new feature that we call Smart Burst. And what Smart Burst does is if you just hold the shutter button down, it takes a staggering 30 frames per second of photos. And you can create a fun animated GIF using them, and the software automatically picks the best possible photo from the burst of photos that you just shot. Here's the animated GIF that I was just referring to. I'll switch gears and talk about the fingerprint. Android phones have had fingerprint sensors for a while now, but with the Android 6.0 platform release, we brought official developer support for fingerprint sensors for the first time. What it does is it lets app developers across the entire ecosystem to take advantage of the fingerprint. So both the 5X and 6P come with Nexus imprint, and that's the tiny circle you see on the back. Both of them have the fingerprint sensor on the back, which makes unlocking the phone very easy as you're holding the phone and interacting with it. And what it does is it makes unlocking your phones fast, convenient, secure, so that you can get security without worrying about slowing yourself down, and lets you accelerate through payments and sign-in flows. The Nexus imprint sensor has amazing performance. The sensor can authenticate in 600 milliseconds, and what it can do is it can go from screen off just by putting your finger on the sensor. It unlocks, breaks up, unlocks, and shows you your home screen. It's convenient and it's secure, and it has incredibly low false detection rates, so it almost never fails. And what's really cool about the imprint sensor is that it gets better over time, so the more often you use it with every single successful authentication, it learns more about your finger, so it gets more accurate over time. On the phone itself, you can use fingerprint to not just unlock and authenticate to the phone, but authenticate for Play Store purchases, and we're working with a number of partners to integrate fingerprint support across banking and commerce applications. We'll talk a little bit more about Marshmallow, which is our latest Android operating system. So as we build new features, we think a lot about fit and finish. How do we address some of the pain points that our users suffer through every single day? And that's why with Marshmallow, what we did is just try to make the phone fast, zippy, and always ready for you as you go through your day. Just be easier and more productive. Let me start with the lock screen. The lock screen always had a camera button. You could see at the bottom right for fast launch of camera. This year, by the way, double tap on the power button also launches your camera. So let me actually quickly show you. This is one of my favorite features. So you can actually double tap on the power button, hold it like you would hold a point and shoot camera, and then use the volume button to take photos. So it makes taking photos very easy. But the other thing we did this year is add the little microphone button in the bottom left. We added voice controls. So let's say you're running late for a lunch meeting, you have a cup of coffee in the other hand, and you don't know which restaurant to run to, and you need to look up the address and you need to look up directions. So normally you have to unlock the phone and you have to type the address and you have to find it. But today, with a single swipe from the bottom left, while you're holding your coffee cup, you can just say, okay, Google, and then interact with the phone and say, what's the address for Cafe Sydney, and get address, navigation directions, so you can make your way there without having to fumble with all the other things there. By the way, I'm noticing they're showing the charging there. It's you can see the charging rapidity is basically because of the USB Type-C, the 97 minutes that I described before. There are a couple of other things that I want to talk about. One is there's a predictive engine on your phone, which basically learns your patterns over time and understands what kind of apps you use at what time of day and in what sequence, and then surfaces them to the top. So you can see the rest of your app grid. It's alphabetical, you can scroll through it. So the top row is the apps that phone is expecting you will use at any given point of time based on your past behavior. Finally, one thing most smartphone users will have heard from across the board is that there's a lot of bloatware on phones. The number of apps that the phone has just makes it very hard to set up and to use. So this year, what we did was we dropped about a third of our apps from being default. So it's just much easier to set up your phone. Out-of-box experience, cleaner, simpler, and faster. And we moved about a third of the apps from out of the setup flow into post-setup install. And what that does is not only is it set up faster, but then those apps you can uninstall, just like any other app you set up, so that you can reclaim the space and you have more control over your phone. So that's it from me over here in Mountain View. I'm going to hand it over back to Shane to show you some demos of the software in action. Thank you so much for coming over. And hope you enjoyed trying out the devices in the demo room soon.
Thank you, Venkat. Fantastic. So now we're going to run through some demos of these new devices live on stage. Always fun. So I'm just going to switch across back to the presentation. And we'll get the camera up and going. Here we go. Wake up, camera. Perfect. So basically, as you heard from Venkat, one of the things we've heard a lot about and feedback we've got from users, there was a big thing we were focused on when building Marshmallow, was that we unlock our phones 150 times a day. We're often switching between apps and between different things we want to do on our phone. So if someone now wants to send us a text message and says, do you want to see a movie? It's really hard to do all those actions without switching between apps all the time. Or if you want to try and find a photo that you took 6 months ago on a beach somewhere, again, it's really hard to be able to find that really quickly. And so the latest updates to Android M are all focused around trying to make it easier to find the things that you care about really quickly, whether that's by voice search or by typing search, or whether it's organizing in a way that's more useful for you. So we're going to go through a few of those today. Here we go. So the first one we're going to go through is Now on Tap. So Now on Tap is a new feature which allows you to be able to interact with information on the screen from any screen on your phone to be able to action it straight away and to get more information as you need it. So let's say that Sophie just sent me a text message and she said, hey, want to see The Martian at 9 p.m. And so I can tap on that, unlock my phone with a fingerprint. And then we can go and long hold the home button. And now that's brought up The Martian there, so I can see what time it's on and can also see when that's going to, I can search for information about it, watch the trailer, see the cast, all from that same screen. So I can reply and say, okay, looks great. And you can see that she's now going to reply again. Let's get dinner at Rock Pool Bar and Grill beforehand at 7 p.m. So I can long hold the home button. And that's now brought up Rock Pool Bar and Grill as an option there. So I can see from there, I could call directly to make a booking. I could check the menu. I could look at Street View to see where it is located, all from the same screen. I create a calendar invitation, so I can say 7 p.m., tap on the calendar, and just go OK and done. So that's now added that calendar invitation with the location already set up there. So that basically, and then I can just reply and say, yep, sounds great, see you there. So the idea behind all of that is to make it much faster and easier for you to be able to get this information on the go, all from the same screen, without switching between apps or having to, unlock the phone and then do it from there, all from the same screen in the same place. And so now I'm going to see The Martian. I have no idea, what The Martian is. I haven't seen it personally, so I can just simply ask Google. I get my phone here. Is it too loud? A little bit. There we go. Cool. So what I can do now is I can, on the phone, say, okay, Google, what's The Martian about?
When astronauts blast off from the planet Mars, they leave behind Mark Watney, Matt Damon, presumed dead after a fierce storm with only a meager amount of supplies. The stranded visitor must utilize his wits and spirit to find a way to survive on the hostile planet. Meanwhile, back on Earth, members of NASA and a team of international scientists work tirelessly to bring him home, while his crewmates hatch their own plan for a daring rescue mission.
There you go. So, spoiler alert, haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, so there goes the whole film. From there you can ask a series of questions too. So we've worked to make voice search contextual, so it understands the conversation, and you don't have to repeat yourself or ask the same question again. So you can say, okay, Google, who's in the cast?
The cast of The Martian includes Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, and others.
And so you can now see that, so then I can say, okay, Google, How old is the first one?
He is 45 years old.
Okay, Google, what is his wife's name?
His spouse is Luciana Barroso since 2005.
Okay, Google, where was she born?
She was born in Salta, Argentina.
Okay, Google, what's the temperature there?
It's 23 degrees in Salta right now.
Okay, Google, what about Sydney?
It's 22 degrees in Sydney right now.
So you can see, without repeating myself or mentioning the same things again, understand the context of the conversation and was able to answer those questions on the fly. And so we made that easier so that you can just, as you naturally would talk to someone else, you can get the answers that you need. Another great thing you can do is you can actually also now for third-party apps, we're now supporting voice actions as well. So you can say, okay Google, play music by Sia on Spotify.
Here you go.
Here you go. So now it's going to play Sia. Oh, go online allegedly. There we go. And so straight from there, from a voice search, you can go straight into playing that there too. And so the idea is to try and make it easier for you to navigate through your apps, to get answers to questions when you need them, all from the same screen using your voice. Another thing we focused a lot on is working on the Photos app, because we know that people take a lot of photos, often thousands of photos on their phone, and then can't find them. Another big challenge with that too is that often your phone will end up just being totally full to the point where you can't take any more photos. So we recently announced earlier this year that you can have unlimited storage on Google Photos in high quality, which is 16 megapixel photos, or 1080p video, which are both fairly high quality, unlimited storage for both of those. And so let me show you a couple of demos now of what you can do with Photos too. So when you take photos, it will automatically categorize your photos to understand what's in them, and you can search for them as well. So say that you went to Google Photos. For example, I recently was in Tokyo, and so I can just search for sunset in Tokyo. Oh, if I put a space in between sunset and Tokyo. And there you go. So it's found all the photos that I took there of sunset in Tokyo. Mount Fuji was one of the few days where the clouds actually weren't there, so you can actually see Mount Fuji from Tokyo, which is pretty cool. And you can get even more specific too. So I was recently, selfies is a fun one I like to play with. So you can search for selfies and see all the different selfies you've taken. Here's a wanky one of me before my haircut last Tuesday, and then afterwards. And one of my favourite ones I actually found the other day was I went to the zoo in Melbourne recently with my girlfriend, and we managed to find a quokka. Who knows what a quokka is? Amazing. Everyone knows what a quokka is from Rock Nest, yeah? But so they're quite sort of small creatures. Everyone's taking selfies with them, but they're actually really hard. Has anyone tried to take a selfie with a quokka? It's really hard. They are shy. I don't know how these people are getting them all. They're really shy animals. But we did manage to eventually, after sort of stalking a quokka for ages, we got one. And so we got this photo here, and Google Photos has identified in the bottom little corner here that there's a quokka. Move it up a bit so you can see it. Yeah, you probably can't even see it on the screen. You can just see it on here too. But the quokka is in the bottom left-hand corner, and it's identified that's there, so I can search for it there. When you tap on the search button, it will also actually just bring up automatic places that you've been a lot to, so University of Sydney, Piedmont, where we work here, Willara, and then you can look at different things too. So skylines, selfies, obviously take a lot of pictures of food. I'm trying to learn to cook. So it'll automatically categorize those for you in one go. So if you want to show people some food you recently cooked, you can sort of go in there. That's actually for us traveling, it's not quite as nice. But a banoffee pie, for example, that's one of my finest creations. My girlfriend actually done quite well with that, to be honest. But that's sort of how you can do it there. So it's basically, the idea is you can organize it all from there. And as we said before, as you would have heard from Venkat, on the Nexus 6P in particular, we've added a Smart Burst feature, which means that you can take 30 photos very quickly by long holding the photo button, and then it will choose the best 8 of those, and we'll create a GIF out of them automatically. So let's just try that for fun now in this room. So if we're going to, I'll go to the Photos app and just dance around. Dance! Yeah, good. Nice. And so now that's going to stitch those together, choose the best 8, and there we go, we've got a bit of dancing. A bit of dancing there. So that's how you can do it from that screen right there. And you can also create your own GIFs by choosing your own images. And Google will also suggest stories and other sort of interesting collages of photos and movies you've taken that you can play with. The final thing I want to show you for today is Google Play Music. So Google Play Music is our subscription service, has 3 parts to it, has a locker where you can store up to 50,000 of your own songs for free. It also has a store where you can purchase song by song, and there's also a subscription where you can pay a monthly fee to be able to access 35 million songs. Another big part of Google Play Music we've recently launched is called Google Play Music Curated Radio. And so what you can do is if you go to Google Play Music and you look at it, it will show you things that are useful. So when you came in today, we were playing music for a spring morning, and you can go through and see it's Monday afternoon, so there's driving, working out, boosting your energy, brand new music, today's biggest hits, and focusing while you work. These are playlists that have been expert curated by a team of photographers and DJs and people like that, and put it together. And so you can choose one of those, let's say focusing while working out, some background beats, and then you can just play, and that will automatically have for you a nice list of music that you can play. You can choose to look at it, choose the songs that you like on the list, and pick the ones you want to listen to. So automatically you can do that. You can also choose a radio from the same song. So if you pick that song, you can then go ahead and create a custom radio from there too. And the great thing is with the Nexus 5X and the Nexus 6P, both phones will be offering 90 days of Google Play Music for free with the purchase of those phones, so people can get started with Google Play Music. And that is the main demos for today. So the idea really is that Marshmallow and these new updates that we've seen, whether it's on Now on Tap, or these sort of advancements that we've come along with voice search, and also the way the photos experience and music experience is working, is to try and organize all the information that you have and make it really easy for you to find that with the search. Thank you very much. Now, next up, we are going to have some fun actually getting hands-on with these phones in the spaces with our friends from LG and Huawei. You'll have the chance to check out all different Android Wear devices that we have, as well as the chance to actually speak to one of the engineers who helped build the Maps component of Android Wear as well. And then also go for a drive in a test car downstairs for Android Auto, which would be great fun. And then a bit of an office tour as well. After that, please make sure you come back. There'll be opportunity to get a little pack of nice things, and then opportunity to register your interest to get a Nexus 5X or a 6P, either to loan for a review or to ask for one for a longer period if you'd like it to be your primary phone. And then we'll have some fun gifts, and that'll be it. Thanks so much, guys. Oh yes, I will tell people what you do next. As you came in, you would have chosen a little Android pin, and you would have thought it was just a cute little thing, but actually, it's also important. Those pins correspond to the groups you're in by chance. So if you look at the pin you have, you'll find around the room someone who matches your pin, who is going to take you around the 5 spaces today. So please find the person who has your pin, and off you go. Thanks guys, chat soon.
There you go.